Karim, football is supposed to bring people together, but with a lot of these policies, you can't help but feel that there's obviously a lot of concern for travelling supporters. Is this a welcoming World Cup?
Not so much. That's the problem, because Fraser told about the rules regarding visa. When you have a ticket, FIFA say to supporters, go to your embassy or go to the fast track to get your visa as soon as possible. That means that it's going to be long. We have 6 months still till the World Cup, but this is not like the welcoming World Cup we will expect when this triumvirate of countries, USA, but also Canada and Mexico, because we talk a lot about Donald Trump, but we forgot that there is also Canada and Mexico which host that World Cup. But yeah, definitely, this is not the Obama time or the Joe Biden's time when they get that World Cup. Now it's more complicated, and we have many concerns about that, to be honest, even inside the United States, even within the US, with the action of the ICE agents across the stadium, in and out of the stadium. We saw it during the Clubs World Cup, some supporters from the Latinos communities afraid of going to the stadium because of that, because they were afraid of getting arrested if they go into a stadium. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at that throughout this month and even during the World Cup, sadly enough, because we would like to talk more about soccer, football, if you prefer, but yeah.
It's true that next year we might well be forced to call it soccer. But staying on the travel ban and how this will affect fans. Obviously, two teams, Thando, Iran and Haiti. Haiti, who haven't qualified for a World Cup in decades and possibly can't even have fans in attendance.
Yeah, that's also, I think, strategically they're doing something. They invited, his name is evading me right now, but he was participating in the World Cup in 1972. I think that was the last time Haiti was in participation. And so you can see that with the invitation, it kind of reels in the football diplomacy, where it's kind of a little carrot on the stick to just say that you might be thinking that this is the problems and the flaws, but you don't know what conversations are being had behind the scenes. There's still a year to go, or just under a year to go before the kickoff of the event. And so much can be done in terms of public relations, especially considering how much talk there has been around the United States. And we talk mostly about the United States because that's the only country that's imposing travel bans, that's really weighing heavy on the ICE on people during the Club World Cup. Again, the precursor to the event. It wasn't the most welcoming thing, knowing that there's going to be ICE agents present at the stadiums. Who's going to come and visit with such a hostile environment? Coming from South Africa, where during 1996, or that was the 1996 AFCON, or even just the Rugby World Cup in 1995. I wasn't present, I wasn't even born, but just seeing the hostility around it, even if it was a nation-building event, because things were still a little bit volatile in the country. And so coming from a country that pushes forward the policy of democracy and seeing such hostile invitation is not really positive or inviting for a lot of supporters. But again, it is the United States. It's glitz and glamour. Everyone wants to be there, but then they should be opening up to receiving these players. And I think players and supporters. And so the question of visas is actually the biggest one. And specifically for South Africa, again, you've been seeing the things that have been happening, the diplomatic, well, not diplomatic, but the bilateral relations that are existing between these two countries are not very friendly at the moment. Donald Trump speaks very openly about how he's not very pleased with South Africa and what's happening there. Elon Musk also coming from and who was in the governmental structures in the first part of the term. We won't speak much about that. But I think these things shouldn't be overlooked because these things always run hand in hand. Sports is a nation-building thing, a peace-building thing. And so what are we building peace from? Where there was conflict, instability, uncertainty. And so they do kind of go parallel. I hope they don't cross because then it takes away from the game. But it is something definitely to look out for. And I really hope that with the short time frame that they have, that they can fix things up and make it a little bit more inviting for people who are coming through.
That's right. On that note, we're going to cross back to Fraser Jackson in Washington. Earlier this week, Fraser, a group of human rights organisations claimed that the World Cup was at increasing risk of being weaponised for authoritarian aims. This comes, of course, after Trump threatened to take matches away from democratic-run cities if he had concerns over safety and security.
Yeah, Donald Trump is really kind of using the World Cup as as somewhat of a landmark, really, during his presidency. He's mentioned it numerous times. Of course, the Olympics are also coming up in the United States in the next couple of years. And Donald Trump really is looking at this as something that he can use to his political benefit as well. He, of course, has called in the National Guards to Washington, D.C., to other countries other cities around the country as well, including Chicago. But he really has an eye on the Democratic-run cities in the United States, hence DC, hence Chicago, and of course the first place that this this blueprint was unveiled was Los Angeles, and it is in Los Angeles where a significant number of these games are going to be played. Now there's over 100 games in this tournament, but around 80 or so of them are going to be played in the United States. The rest will of course be in Canada and Mexico, but a lot of those games are taking place in Los Angeles, in Seattle, in Boston, and Donald Trump has really put those in the crosshairs, threatening to take them away if he believes that the levels of crime in those areas are not safe enough for people to come and visit the city. Now, of course, a lot of the critics of Donald Trump are saying that he's using this as a pretext to be able to clamp down upon people he sees as his opponents, but Donald Trump could indeed head down that road. Should be said, however, there could likely be legal challenges if that indeed is something Donald Trump tries. There is legal recourse at the hands of these cities, so it might not be a straight fight. But Donald Trump is no stranger to fighting in the courts.
And we mentioned it earlier, of course. Amid all of this, FIFA President Infantino and the US President have been getting pretty close. FIFA has set up an office in Trump Tower, and Infantino recently appeared alongside political leaders at a summit for bringing peace to Gaza. Fraser, are the pair a bit too close for comfort?
Well, I think Infantino has a history of this. It's not just Donald Trump he's got him close to. He got close to the Emir of Qatar as well during the last World Cup. He even put his children through school in Qatar as well. So, it's not like Infantino is a stranger to politics. So the fact that he said politics doesn't belong in football, I think, some would say that he needs to kind of take his own advice if that's the case. Because a lot of the events that he's are taking place where Infantino is at are not sporting events. He was at the signing of the DR Congo and Rwanda peace deal just 24 hours ago here in DC. He was at the signing of the peace deal for Gaza as well in Egypt a few months ago. These are not exactly, sporting events, and a lot of them don't even include, the world's biggest sporting sides. So it's kind of hard to draw the line about where that is. But he is no stranger to the White House. He has been there many times. He's also quite willing to flatter Donald Trump. He's given him medals. He's given him FIFA trophies as well, the World Cup trophies as well that have been in Donald Trump's desk, sitting there, pride of place. So you can certainly see that the two men are very close. And Infantino himself even says that Donald Trump, he considers him a close friend.